I will say that at one point with my conversations with some of the Hollywood types, they said that they were concerned about the feedback and criticism from some of the people in the gamer community. And I'm like, don't take it too seriously. The gamer community hates the gamer community. I'm like, I'm like, it's excellent to hear them and to listen to their feedback, but this isn't the same thing as when you workshop feedback from, say, like, suburban people, you know, or college-educated people. Like, you're going through, like, different age groups, you know? Like, this is a... If a vocal minority in any community in video games hates something, you will hear about it. It could be one guy, and they could make one video about it, and it will get, like, magnified through that echo chamber. Case in point, Dark Souls 2. I played and enjoyed Dark Souls 2 on launch. And I'm like, this is a fun game. I'm like, I don't know if I like it as much as Dark Souls 1, but, you know, this was a good time. And then some asshole came up with, like, a 1.5 hour long video on how, like, Dark Souls 2 was bad and nobody should like it, and Dark Souls 1 is so much better. And you know what? Those brainworms got into my head, and I thought that for a while. And don't get me wrong. Of the things he said in his criticism of Dark Souls 2, he was kind of right. He was right. But it's still a good game. Like, it's still a good game. And the PvP was far better than almost any other Souls game. Except for, like, the soul range thing. I hated that. How about Dark Souls 3? My brain was a little bit more firm by the time Dark Souls 3 came out, so I'm less influenced by the opinions of others. Brainworms, Pro Cow, it's true. And it's got some of the best DLC of any Souls games I've ever played. That's for damn sure. So does the game have problems? Yeah, but, like, people will convince themselves something that's actually just fine, if still not, like, far better than anything else you would find from any other developer is bad, because some asshole would be like, well, it's not as good as this thing, or, ooh, it's got a problem. So you know what? You come out. You got a big dick. You want to come out and make, like, the world's best next Dark Souls game? Go ahead and do it, coward. But no. I sit behind my keyboard and say, why, this thing is bad. Not so hard when you're on the other hand. Getting a little heated right now. You would play the world's next best Dark Souls, and people have been trying, you know? And you know what the ironic thing was? Biophil, like, a pretty good Souls clone came out. It wasn't amazing. It was obviously from an indie studio, because it's not like there's going to be a company bigger than Bandai Namco that's going to make a Souls game. Called Mortal Shell, and it was okay. And you know what I saw? In, like, every chat that was about Mortal Shell, it was just this nonstop. Just people laughing at Mortal Shell. It wasn't great, but you know what? It did new stuff. And I think that's, like, should be respected. You know, the hardened stuff was neat. Being able to keep doing your combo through a combo was neat. I don't know. The murder strokes? Nobody did. Nobody appreciated it. Like, at one point, you grabbed the blade of your sword and you hit them with the hilt. How many games have that? It's not amazing, but that's like new. I haven't seen that in a video game before. Apparently it's a real thing. You know, I agree with you, Nefudis. There was no multiplayer. There's no invasions. There's no PvP. Unlocking weapons was not great. Some of the bosses, challenging, but there weren't a ton of them. But for a, you know, freshman entry into the series, I think they did pretty well. For an indie game, it did all right. Yep. And this is coming from somebody who did a naked, no-hit speedrun of that game. By the way, did it live. I had never gotten a naked, no-hit speedrun done before, except for the actual day of the tournament. Like, enormous penis energy. Enormous. I'll take that. Congrats, thank you. My, you know, competed against the best Souls runners in the world, placed in the top 50%. I'm a speedrunner, but I don't speedrun the Souls game. Yeah, no, Metal Vine's like 100%, like, there really wasn't an enormous difference between shells. Unless you played the game a ton, like, it really didn't matter which shell you used. The weapons, I feel like, were varied enough for how long the game was, but the overall length of the game was a little bit of an issue. Like, there's definitely issues with it, but again, like, the point isn't that it wasn't a perfect game or was a perfect game. It's that, like, anything that isn't released by Bandai Namco just gets completely dismissed out of hand. Do you think play order matters at all for the Souls games? Huh. Well, there's some, like, lore stuff. You know, I mean, not that it matters that much, but if you care at all about the storyline, it is kind of nice to go in chronological order. Absolutely not necessary. I mean, I'll just say, like, you know, there's some reoccurring characters, there's some stuff that changes, but I mean, honestly, you could just pick up Dark Souls 3 and play that. My feeling is sometimes it's hard to go back. Like, mechanically, like, once you get used to, like, Monster Hunter World is your first Monster Hunter game, and you want to go back and play the older games, you're like, ugh, this game's weird. Like, for Dark Souls, you know, for me, the two fun things are, first, just learning and navigating new areas, and then second, like, learning and fighting new bosses. And you don't really experience that until you actually do it. And even the old games like Demon's Souls, like, it still has interesting stuff that happens for even, like, basically the first game in the modern series. Obviously, it is part of a much longer narrative that I think goes back maybe even to Kingsfield. I'm not really sure how Kingsfield ties into Souls. But assuming that it does, oh, that sucked. Should have let it off early. Demon's Souls is standalone? It's technically standalone. But I mean, you still have, like, Patches makes an appearance. Some of the weapons, I think, make another appearance. I mean, Souls happened presumably before Souls was even an apple in their eye. Kingsfield has no impact in the Demon Souls story. I'm sure I could make a 10-part YouTube series that would argue that it does. If I wanted classic Thermite, I probably could. And you know I could. If I wanted to clickbait the hell out of people. Imagine a Monster game with Devil May Cry mobility. It exists. It's called Tokenin. It's okay. You might think the limited mobility in Monster Hunter is a bad thing, but the people that cry about, oh, I'm animation locked, psychologically, they don't know why it's actually a good thing. I hate that term, by the way. I hate, like, oh, I only lost because I was animation locked. Like, that's... You were stuck in an attack. You wouldn't have been locked in that animation if you didn't attack. Eternal Ring? I don't know if I own Eternal Ring. I own Ancient City? What's the PlayStation 2 one that sounds like Ancient City? I might own it, ProCal. I really might. I've got like some plastic bins of video games in my basement. And that would be the sort of game I would buy. Yeah, I would say having 3 slots puts it up quite a bit. With having second highest amount of raw, because as a whole, it probably makes it better. It is more crunch than chicken. Can we use Switch Axe? Yeah, but probably not today. Is crit meta in this generation? I don't think so. A lot of attack stacking. I think you'd use Challenger, which does give you some crit, but you'd like want to tack up large and Challenger first before you start layering on crit. But then you also have to think about like Sharpness +1 and Razor Sharp and things like that. Well, crit is meta on Greatsword because you have like crit draw, but that doesn't make like crit meta. Crit meta is like literally Monster Hunter World Iceborne, like everybody rocking like 95 to 100% affinity on their weapons with max crit boost. But yeah, Hone Blade, Razor Sharp, and Challenger +2 are all extremely powerful, super versatile things that you could have. Wasn't the event set meta? Well, so, like, we got to be careful what we're talking about when we say meta. Meta means, like, you know, basically the best thing or the thing that everybody would use all the time because it was good, not because it was easy. Now, Star Knight is good, but that doesn't make it the best in the game. Star Knight was just easy. Yeah, I mean, you're not, and not only that, like, outside of crit draw, like, what are you going to do? Like, put a bunch of points into crit up? Like, wasn't to get crit eye plus 30%, did you need like 25 or 30 points in the skill? Never understood people's hatred of Star Knight? It's I think there's nobody complains about the skills. I think it was probably just people being like, man, like, I see this thing all the damn time. The skills are great. What you're able to make with it. I don't know. I remember soloing the Star Knight content with level appropriate gear, or below level appropriate gear for that matter. It's a full set with good skills. You just don't get that often. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's genuinely better than White Fatalis armor. And that's even assuming that you're using, like, ignore the negative points in Fate or whatever it is. Oh no. I should probably get a mount off. Star Knight does look good. No, no arguments here. Or not. Completely miss. I mean, so what are the skills on Star Knight? I know it's got mounting. Like no decos. Like what do you got on there? Oops. Like mounting master. Challenger, sharp sword, sharpness +1. So you wouldn't really want... I don't think you'd want honed blade on there because what's the point of having sharpness +1 and honed blade? That's like attack up large with extra steps. You know what I mean? That's silly. But it doesn't make sense. Honed blade is sharpness +1. Why would you? I guess I just don't understand. Maybe somebody can help explain it to me. So, Challenger +2, Razor Sharp, Mind's Eye, Mounting, and 4 points of Handicraft. So yeah, I mean, it would be silly to use the full set and not just go for the Handicraft because it's already, like, almost there. Attack up large? I mean... You could get attack up extra large if you just put in the points, and it's so much easier to get maxed attack up through decos. Right? 3 triples, that's attack up medium right there. And then a good talisman, you could easily have attack up XL. Yeah, I remember in, I think it was my Sword and Shield playthrough, I think I made Star Knight, and then I filled it up with Evasion. Yeah, I don't know that I don't feel like I need Evasion +3. Like, it's weird for the people who've only ever played this game recently on an emulator, but playing it with a controller over Wi-Fi, which is ridiculous, feels like more responsive than playing it natively on a PC with an emulator. Does anybody have any, like, tactical knowledge of, like, why the hell that is? Like, why is that?